888-227-2546 from New York. Marshall, welcome to Bobby Likas Car Clinic.
Hi, Bobby. I had called you previously on an 88 Fiero GT. I recently noticed that the check engine light will come on, and the fuel pump is still cranking away. I can hear it. So I shut it down. I wait a few minutes because it keeps right on cranking. And when it stops, I pop it off again after the fuel pump comes on again. The check engine light does not come on, and it runs just fine. So I'm suspicious about the electric fuel pump.
But the electric fuel pump, it can't. You're telling me the pump runs when the key is off?
Well, no. Yes, I did.
Well, that's not the pump's fault, because it's a receiver. It's not a giver. It receives current, so it cannot be in the pump. It can be in the fuel pump relay or in the computer that sends the relay. Here's what happens when you turn the engine over. The engine sends a signal to the exciter in the ignition module. The ignition module then sends a signal to the computer. Now this is when you turn the engine is turning over. When you first turn the key on, the pump gets a little for 3/4 of a second of prime.
Right.
And you're familiar with that.
Yep.
In fact, a lot of times when you have a car that won't crank up, you can cycle the key from off to run without going into the crank mode several times, and that will hit the pump and shock the pump. And if you've got a leaking pressure, that will allow a car to jump to life a lot more quickly. And that's an old and easy to do for some people that have a car that's slow to crank from time to time after it sits overnight. So having said that, when you go to, let's say the car was out of gas, and you turn to the starter in the cranking mode, the starter has current going to it all the time. So therefore, a car that had run out of fuel and you put fuel in it, it would start because the engine is turning over, but the fuel pump is getting power from the ignition switch, not through the same relay, but through another source. So you've got a couple of sources there. But to me, when you turn the key off, then you collapse all of that, and you stop the engine, and if the pump runs, then it has to be somewhere in the fuel pump relay. And because you're having engine quit problems, you could have an engine exciter, the module, which I suspect may be some of the problem. However, that wouldn't cause the pump to run. That would, to me, it would be the relay. And if the relay is sticking because it's old and defective, the cheapest thing for you to do would be to replace the fuel pump relay.
Fuel pump relay?
I mean, why not? I mean, I bet you that for $15 you could buy one.
Right.
And don't buy a used one, by the way. Be sure. Do you have a wiring manual for that 88 car?
Yes, I do. Great.
You saved. You restored my faith.
Well, it's the diagram that comes with a Haynes manual.
Right.
And I've used it to some degree. I mean, I'm not a wizard on
I understand. Yeah, but you can trace the power to the fuel pump relay and find the relay, and then replace the relay. And that's exactly what I would do, is just pick up that relay, and you probably go to an Apple store and get one.
Well, you just answered my second question, because I was going to ask you where that relay was.
Hey, Marshall, thanks for your call, and check back with me and let me know if that fixes the problem, okay?
Yes, I will. I got another question for you, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
I received an email, and I had seen it once before on television, where there's a water kit that you can buy and hook up to your car.
Right. A water for gas.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't waste your money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a kit. It's you buy this kit and you make it, and your car runs on hydrogen, and it's real time, and I mean, all that will do is confuse the air fuel ratio of the engine, and it will confuse the computer, and then you have to get a computer. I mean, they don't sell the kit where you install the kit and it's done and it's made custom for the car. They encourage you, they being these sites that sell these kits, the water for gas, they encourage you to make your own for like $50. And it's like money for nothing, Well, I'll tell you something. You stick with the factory configuration of an automobile with electronic control, and tune it, service it, maintain it, and you won't be sorry, and you'll get the best gas mileage possible from that automobile. And if you want a car that gets better gas mileage, buy a later model car that's battery powered or alternative power, and that's where we're going. Hey, Marshall, thanks again for your call. It's great talking with you.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. Good talking to you.
It is my pleasure.